Tony Freeman praises Derek Lunsford's 2025 Mr. Olympia performance. Bodybuilding veteran Tony Freeman had high praise for Derek Lunsford's showing at the 2025 Mr. Olympia, calling his physique cartoon-like as the night progressed. Freeman noted that Derek seemed to improve round by round, saying, "Towards the end, Derek actually got better as the night went on. He started looking like a cartoon character towards the end when everybody else was kind of normaing out." Freeman highlighted Derek's dense and hard look, observing a visible transformation as the finals unfolded. "I don't know what he did, but I saw his density. He got harder," Freeman said. However, he also pointed out that Derek's rapid muscle growth may have temporarily affected his proportions. "He put on so much muscle so fast, it's still not him yet. That's why his legs were going away. It wasn't that he didn't have them, they just were going away." According to Freeman, Derek's physique is still evolving, and the best is yet to come. "This is year 3, maybe 4, of him being this big. Next year, I expect him to be even harder, and the year after that, even harder, because he's still super young." Freeman ended his remarks with genuine admiration for Derek's overall presence, both physical and personal. "Somebody like Derek, he's like Superman. He's got the classic look in his face, great skin, nice V-taper, well-spoken, loves God. That's the kind of person you put in front." With continued growth and refinement, Freeman believes Derek Lunsford's reign in bodybuilding could be just beginning. Tony Freeman, "Nick was just trying to be a monster when he should be trying to be more aesthetic instead of just out-freaking everybody. He's embodied that whole mutant thing, but that's not going to win him the title. I'm a fan. I love the way he trains, his mentality, all of that, but he can't be number one and us grow the sport. We love Nick, us bodybuilding fans, we love the freak, but if you're trying to present this thing to the world, then you need someone that's a little more aesthetically pleasing to get that jump. It's perception." For Walker, Freeman's feedback suggests he might consider dialing back the mutant size angle and emphasizing classic lines, symmetry, aesthetics to improve his chances of winning major titles like the Mr. Olympia and becoming a marketable figure. For the sport, Freeman's view reflects a tension between serving hardcore bodybuilding fans who love the extreme freak look and presenting a version of bodybuilding that is accessible and appealing to mainstream audiences and sponsors. For fans and insiders, the commentary invites a broader discussion. What do we value in bodybuilding now? Massive size? Aesthetic perfection? Or a hybrid of both? Freeman has decades of experience in elite bodybuilding, giving his viewpoint weight when judging what it takes to win and to represent the sport. His remarks touch on two major axes: performance, what wins on stage, and presentation/marketability, how the sport sells to a broader public. The comments raise the question, in an evolving bodybuilding world, is freak size alone enough, or does the sport need a more balanced, aesthetic-driven look to broaden its appeal? Lee Haney, Dorian had size, he had great shape, and he's a good-looking guy too, so all those things played in his favor. I knew that his physique needed to mature a little bit more. Dorian is not as smiley and talkative as I am, but he had a strength about his smile that I love and still admire today. After Dorian won that first Mr. Olympia, the statement had been made, okay, we're looking for mass and size. And there was nobody at that particular time as big as Dorian, although there were guys with fantastic shape, you had Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, Chris Cormier, and Flex Wheeler. Size plus shape plus presence. Haney acknowledged Yates' size and shape were significant assets, traits that propelled him to 6 consecutive Olympia titles, 1992 to 1997. Good looks plus appeal. The comment that Yates is a good-looking guy too signals Haney's view that beyond raw mass, appearance, and charisma matter. Influence on the sport's direction. Haney recognized that Yates' victory marked a shift. The era of mass monsters had solidified, and Yates was at the front of that wave. Maturation and refinement. Haney's remark about Yates' physique needing to mature a little bit more implies he saw room for improvement in harmony, balance, or stage polish. Perception and aesthetic balance. By stating that Yates' win sent a signal that mass and size were foremost, Haney subtly raised concerns that the sport might be prioritizing mass at the expense of aesthetic ideals. Symmetry and classic lines. In separate comments, Haney criticized Yates' symmetry. His chest was weird, his waist was weird. No, that was not great symmetry. Magnifying less tilted left implications for the sport and legacy. A turning point in bodybuilding, Yates' reign introduced a new benchmark of muscular size and conditioning. Haney's reflections highlight how this changed judging criteria, athlete goals, and public perception. Balancing monster size versus aesthetic ideal, Haney represents the generation that emphasized aesthetics, symmetry, proportion, lines, whereas Yates pushed the limit of mass. Haney's comments suggest concern that the pendulum may have swung too far toward size. Legacy of both athletes, Haney respectably acknowledges Yates' greatness, while also maintaining his own philosophical standard of what the sport should represent. In doing so, he underscores that greatness can be defined in more than one way. Dorian Yates, reflecting on the golden days of bodybuilding, the legend admits that things were different back then. Myself and Ronnie were big, but super hard and dense, because we were hammering every day in the gym with heavy weights, he explained. He believes the modern era has taken a different turn. Today's athletes might appear bigger, but they often lack the same level of muscle density and conditioning. They look bigger, but softer and more watery, he noted. He also pointed out the rise of distended stomachs among competitors, a trend that started in the 90s as bodybuilders pushed for extreme mass. Maybe we're responsible for that, he admitted. People are chasing size, but not the quality at the same time. He combined size with extreme conditioning and muscle density/grain. He believed that today many competitors may appear bigger or fuller, but they often lack the same rock-hard muscle quality, separation, and detail. He acknowledged that part of the shift in standards and physiques came partly as a consequence of what he and his era represented. Muscle density and hardness, Yates is frequently praised for his granite muscle look: thick, dry, deeply striated, and extremely conditioned. Conditioning plus size, not size alone, Yates emphasized that he didn't just add mass, he brought it at a level of conditioning few had seen. Changing standards, his rise signaled a shift in bodybuilding criteria from purely aesthetic/shape to mass plus hardness plus size. Less separation, more fullness. Yates argues many of today's athletes may show more fullness but less visual definition and separation than his era. Changing proportions and silhouette, he has questioned how some athletes now prioritize extreme size, which may compromise classic lines or symmetry. Increased prevalence of distension/bubblegut look, while not always explicitly in his quotes, this is an issue he and many commentators tie to the shift toward mass over conditioning/quality. Reddit threads reference Yates discussing insulin use and how it may have contributed to such trends. Judging an athlete's strategy, Yates's comments suggest that winning and leading the sport may require more than size. The quality of muscle, condition, presentation matter significantly. Marketability and public perception, as bodybuilding attempts to appeal to broader audiences, aesthetics, proportion, look may come to the forefront again rather than sheer mass alone. Legacy and evolution, Yates stands at a pivot point representing the transition into the mass monster era, yet also a voice calling for preserving density, condition, and visual quality. Former bodybuilding champion has opened up about his decision to retire, revealing that concerns over his health played a major role. He admitted that he became increasingly aware of how bodybuilding was affecting his body and didn't want to continue risking his well-being, especially with a family to think about. Acknowledging that the sport had already caused some damage to his health, he explained that it made the decision to step away much easier. He simply wasn't willing to make that sacrifice anymore. He pointed out that, although he was still performing at peak levels, there was some damage that happened to my health, and that was another huge reason why it was easy for me to retire. Bumstead revealed issues such as joint and shoulder struggles, digestive-related health challenges, and a growing awareness that his body would not recover as freely forever. He emphasized the shift in his mindset, from "I want to be the best" to "I want to be healthy and happy, especially for my family." Chris's decision adds an important voice to the broader conversation about elite bodybuilding. Success often comes with hidden long-term health costs. His stance underlines that retirement is not always about physical performance alone. Health, quality of life, and family increasingly weigh just as heavily. For the sport of bodybuilding and for athletes coming up, it serves as a reminder: building an impressive physique may be one metric, but sustainability and longevity matter greatly. Chris Bumstead's openness is both refreshing and important. He achieved greatness in his division, yet recognized that to preserve his future well-being and support what matters most, his family, his health, the smart step was to step back rather than constantly push harder. His story is valuable for anyone in or observing fitness-intensive sports. The question isn't only how far can I go, but at what cost, and how long can I live well after the prime.